A day of violence. Suicide bombings across Saudi Arabia after ISIS claimed responsibility for the worst attack in Baghdad in more than a decade. Also tonight, heavily armed police and bomb-sniffing dogs are on patrol from coast to coast this 4th of July.
We are worried. I mean, that's what does keep us up at night.
The search for an American college student who went missing in Rome takes a tragic turn. And dealers are selling used cars with defects that haven't been fixed.
Did you know that this car has an open airbag recall?
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
Good evening. Scott is off tonight. I'm Elaine Quijano. This is our Western edition. There is no let-up in a wave of terror and suicide bombings as the Muslim holy month of Ramadan draws to a close. There were attacks today in 3 cities in Saudi Arabia, killing at least 4. One was near the U.S. consulate in Jeddah, another outside one of Islam's holiest sites, the Prophet's Mosque in Medina. No group has claimed responsibility, but ISIS has said it was behind yesterday's attack in Baghdad. Charlie D'Agata reports more than 200 were killed in the worst attack there since just after the U.S. invasion in 2003.
Even in a country awash in bloodshed, this was bad. The ISIS suicide bomber knew just where and when to strike to kill as many civilians as possible. The holy month of Ramadan ends this week, and cafes and shops along the boulevard were packed full of families enjoying the cool of the night after fasting through the long, hot day when the car bomb went off. Even as they carried more body bags away from the rubble and wreckage, it was already clear that this was the worst single terror attack to hit the capital in years. I swear to God, the government is a failure, this woman says. They are the ones who brought terrorism here. The attack came only about a week after Iraqi government forces completely recaptured the nearby city of Fallujah in a fierce battle that lasted for weeks. Yet the more territory ISIS loses on the battlefield, the more terror attacks it launches away from it. The carnage in Baghdad came during a week of bloody attacks tied to ISIS around the globe. The triple suicide bombing at Turkey's main airport, which killed more than 40 people, is suspected to have been coordinated by an ISIS affiliate in Central Asia. In Bangladesh, the U.S. has offered the FBI's help after the ISIS siege of a cafe that left 20 hostages dead, including college student Abinta Kabir from Miami. As they hold vigils for victims in Iraq, there are many questions, but one dead certainty, that another ISIS attack will come. With public anger mounting, Elaine, the Iraqi Justice Ministry announced that 5 convicted terrorists were executed this morning. Officials said they wanted bereaved families to know that they're continuing to deliver punishment to those whose hands are stained with Iraqi blood.
Charlie D'Agata in London for us. Charlie, thank you. Law enforcement says there is no credible threat against the U.S. this holiday weekend, but heightened security remains at 4th of July events and at transportation hubs. Chris Van Cleve has more on this.
At 4th of July events across the country, security is tight. In New York City, that means the largest deployment of NYPD officers in years. As many as 3 million people are expected to gather along the East River for tonight's fireworks. Chief James O'Neill.
On each and every one of the 24 entry points, you're going to see a long gun team. So you'll see people in vests, helmets, carrying rifles.
On the National Mall, heavily armed police stood at security checkpoints. Despite rain, hundreds of thousands are expected to attend the Independence Day celebration in Washington, D.C. Dale Kirk came from Kentucky.
It felt very secure. There was a lot of security around. So,
you feel safe down here?
I do, yes. Glad to be here. It's a very nice event.
In gun violence-plagued Chicago, 5,000 officers are working the streets and holiday events this weekend. At train stations and at airports nationwide, travelers are seeing heavily armed police and bomb-sniffing dogs on patrol. While there are no specific threats against U.S. transit hubs this holiday weekend, immediately following Tuesday's terror attack at an airport in Turkey, airports across the U.S. ratcheted up security, especially in the public areas before the checkpoints.
We are worried. I mean, that's what does keep us up at night.
Patrick Gannon is the chief of the Los Angeles Airport Police.
Our strategy here in LAX has been one to make sure that we're out and about and we're at that curb level and we're meeting people as they come into the airport.
The 4th of July weekend is also a big test for the TSA, which has struggled with staffing shortages and significant increases in flyers. Elaine, initial reports from the TSA are the weekend has gone smoothly.
Chris Van Cleve in our Washington newsroom. Chris, thank you. In the presidential campaign, both candidates are turning their attention to North Carolina, staging rallies in the key battleground state Tuesday. Hillary Clinton will be joined by President Obama for the first time since he endorsed her on June 9th.
I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it.
Clinton hopes to change the campaign dynamic after a week in which she answered questions from FBI agents investigating her private email server, and her husband stirred controversy following an impromptu meeting with Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Lynch is overseeing the email investigation and has said she will accept whatever the FBI recommends.
Well, it was allowed, and the rules have been clarified since I left.
Donald Trump was trying to change the subject today as well, tweeting about potential vice presidential picks Senators Tom Cotton and Joni Ernst and Indiana Governor Mike Pence. While the Clinton campaign blasted him for a weekend tweet attacking Clinton with a picture of the candidate next to the Star of David. Trump and his surrogates have pushed back hard against the accusation that the tweet, which the campaign quickly altered, was anti-Semitic.
There was nothing anti-Semitic about our campaign, certainly nothing anti-Semitic about Mr. Trump.
A CBS News Battleground Tracker poll in late June showed Clinton with a slight edge over Trump, but within the margin of error. Severe storms raced through northern Kentucky today. A funnel cloud was spotted in Louisa near the West Virginia border. Cars were overturned, trees knocked down. A Walmart took a major hit. Shelves were knocked over. At least 5 people suffered minor injuries. New York City police think a hobbyist experimenting with explosives is responsible for a blast in Central Park yesterday. A Virginia teenager lost his foot when he stepped on material police compared to homemade fireworks. Investigators think it was left there by someone testing the explosives. They don't believe it was connected to terrorism or that there was any intention to hurt someone. Police in Rome are looking into the suspicious death of a Wisconsin college student. Bo Solomon's body was found today in the Tiber River after a nearly 4-day search. DeMarco Morgan tells us what investigators have learned.
Bo Solomon was last seen by friends early Friday morning, leaving a bar in Rome. When he failed to show up for an orientation class later in the day, his roommate reported him missing. That sparked a search that ended this morning when Solomon's bruised body was discovered about a mile from where he disappeared. His cell phone and wallet were missing, but his credit cards had been used to make purchases not long after he was last seen. Grandfather Steve Solomon.
I did hear that the credit cards were used in Milan, not Rome, and they were used not by him.
Solomon had arrived 2 days earlier in Rome as part of a summer exchange program at John Cabot University, with plans to return this fall to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Today, friends took to social media to remember the popular and outgoing Wisconsin native. Rest easy, Bo. You will be greatly missed by so many. Solomon had beaten cancer as a toddler and hoped to run for political office one day, said his brother Jake.
He had over 15 to 20 procedures growing up throughout his life and was able to overcome all that.
Italian investigators are considering robbery as a possible motive. Solomon's parents are in Rome hoping to find answers. And Elaine, an autopsy is scheduled for sometime tomorrow.
DeMarco Morgan. DeMarco, thank you. While millions hit the beach for the 4th of July, no one could swim in parts of South Florida. The toxic algae bloom plaguing 4 counties looks bad and smells worse. Area residents blame pollutants from Lake Okeechobee. So the Army Corps of Engineers is trying to reduce how much water flows from the lake. Some folks in North Carolina claim a food company is dumping waste right on their doorsteps. Hundreds have gone to court to make it stop. Mark Strassman paid a visit to see and smell for himself.
I want to sit out on the front porch today, but I can't because of the spray. In this cell phone video, Renee Miller recorded. The farm across the street from her lifelong home in Warsaw, North Carolina, is spraying hog waste. The slightest breeze blows it into her yard and over her home and car.
You walk inside, are you wet?
Just like I sweat.
But it's not sweat.
Right.
It sounds disgusting.
It is disgusting.
North Carolina's 2,000 hog farms pump waste into storage lagoons. Overflow is sprayed onto fields as fertilizer. But sometimes, according to residents, the sprayers miss their marks, hitting homes nearby.
I've never had a complaint from any of my neighbors. We try to do what is right.
12 miles away, Jeff Spedding farms for Smithfield Foods, the world's largest pork producer and supplier. He says farmers want to be good neighbors, but he sees no better way to get rid of the waste.
But it gets into what's cost effective also. It also gets into what's reasonable. There isn't any technology that's more efficient than what we're doing.
Hog farms and their waste are regulated by North Carolina's Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ. In annual inspections, the agency monitors where and how often farms spray.
Just to be clear, the people were there first.
The people were here first. That's such an important point.
Rick Dove works for the environmental advocacy group Waterkeeper Alliance. They filed a complaint against DEQ alleging environmental racism by allowing farms to locate disproportionately near minority communities. The EPA is investigating the environmental justice claims, and DEQ says it's cooperating.
Nobody's trying to put this industry out of business, just out of the pollution business.
In a statement, the North Carolina Pork Council called those claims wildly exaggerated. It added, "We strongly reject any charge that race plays any part in the location or operation of hog farms."
When those sprayers are going, this house takes a direct hit.
Takes a direct hit, yes.
Renee Miller and more than 500 residents have filed civil suits against Smithfield's pork division, claiming the farms are making it impossible for them to enjoy their homes.
I'm stuck, and I always say I'll probably die here stuck.
While the civil suits play out in court, Miller dreads the summer. She says it's the busy season for the sprayer across the road.
Who wants to live like this?
Mark Strassman, CBS News, Warsaw, North Carolina.
Next on the CBS Evening News, dealers are selling used cars knowing they have serious defects, and it's legal. And later, a film teacher with a special eye for helping his students succeed. We've reported extensively on vehicles that have been recalled for serious safety issues like defective Takata airbags. But what most people don't know is many used cars for sale may have defects that have not been fixed, and it's legal for dealers to sell them to you unrepaired. Anna Werner has been looking into this.
We went undercover shopping in New Jersey to see what salespeople would tell us about used cars for sale with unrepaired safety defects.
All of our cars go through a high inspection.
Take this BMW X5 at Premier Auto Group that the government says has a defective airbag. Yet manager Naji told us,
I don't think the X5 will have this problem.
Same issue for this 2012 Acura TL at Penske Acura. But salesperson Nicole told us,
we're a corporate complex, so we won't sell anything that's going to give us a bad reputation.
A salesman at this auto lender's named Chris admitted his dealership sells cars with the airbag defect, but said not to worry.
There's only like 2 or 3 people killed by it, but they don't even know what's causing it.
That's wrong. At least 11 people have died due to those airbags. At dealerships around the country, we found used cars for sale with recalls for serious safety defects, ranging from the airbags to faulty ignitions to rollaway hazards. But there is no federal law that requires used car dealers to inform buyers of those recalls.
It leaves the consumer between a rock and a hard place.
Auto safety advocate Clarence Ditlow watched our video.
You should be able to buy a car knowing that all safety recalls have been taken care of.
So we went back to the dealerships where we shopped undercover, like the Acura dealership, where we asked salesperson Nicole, "Did you know that this car has an open airbag recall?"
I did not.
Should that car be out there?
No, it should not if it does.
That dealership later told us it was a mistake and they had pulled the car from the lot. Other dealers told us they do disclose recalls as part of the sales process. Auto Lenders Corporate told us they share the vehicle's Carfax report, which includes recall information, with all buyers.
Is that enough?
No, it's not. They're driving the car off the lot with a safety defect, and by definition, a safety defect presents an unreasonable risk of death, crash, or injury.
And the manager at Premier Auto Group, he said he discloses recalls too, but then sells the cars.
Do you feel like they're safe with that recall?
They're not safe, but I mean, it's BMW. You have to go to BMW and ask them how they let these cars stay on the road.
All those dealers told us later that had we gone further in the buying process, they would have disclosed those safety recalls. A major used car dealership association told us a new law won't solve the problem, that it's auto manufacturers and the government who should take responsibility. Now, you can find out if the car you're looking at has a safety recall by going to safercar.gov and looking up the VIN number.
Important information. Anna Werner, thank you. And we'll be right back. A NASA spacecraft is about to have a close encounter with the biggest planet in our solar system. Juno is speeding toward Jupiter at 165,000 miles an hour. Later tonight, it will fire its main rocket to slow itself down and slip into orbit so it can study the planet's composition and eventually send back photos. Our nation is mourning a military hero from another era this 4th of July. Roscoe Brown, a member of the famed Tuskegee Airmen during World War II, died over the weekend. One of the first African-American pilots, Brown earned the Distinguished Flying Cross and went on to become a professor and community college president. Roscoe Brown was 94. Next, most teachers would have quit after dodging bullets, but that only made this teacher more committed. Our final story tonight reads like a movie script. It's a story of commitment and achievement with a few plot twists, as told by Michelle Miller.
Who's seen the movie Freedom Riders?
Daryl McCain lives for second acts. Most of the kids in his film class at South LA's Washington Prep High School need that second chance. They live in neighborhoods plagued by crime and gun violence.
How many students have you lost over the 10 years you've been teaching here?
Well over 60 kids that I've had have been murdered.
In 2008, he was almost added to that total.
You were coming out of a football game?
Yes. And three boys walked in, and right as I walked past them, they opened fire and shot a young man who had stolen my phone 2 weeks before, and they shot a 12-year-old girl.
That's when he realized he had to be here.
I felt at that time if I would have left, then that would make the students even more scared if the teachers are running away.
He convinced the school to spend $100,000 on computers and equipment and used his Columbia University Masters in Film to teach students to learn, using their hearts, minds, and voices to speak their truth while making movies.
I don't kick kids out of my classroom, even if they're disruptive. I try to kick them in. So my thing is that you're in the wrong place, I'm not kicking you out. We're gonna figure out a way to get you involved.
And get involved they did. Jeannie Gardner was an average student starting to act out.
So it went from you not saying a word in class
to now I speak with confidence and a very articulate voice. Because of him.
When the track coach quit, students passed the coach's baton to him.
And when you asked him, what did he say?
He said, of course.
What makes this job worth it to you?
The kids that thrive, the kids that figure it out, the kids that were not even thinking about going to college, who suddenly are applying to college, getting their grades up, and believing that they can achieve something. Oh, I love that.
Art may not always imitate life, but when it comes to his students, Daryl McCain does hope
it's wonderful
for the Hollywood ending.
All right, come on.
Michelle Miller, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A real-life story of perseverance. That's the CBS Evening News. For Scott Pelley, I'm Elaine Quijano. We leave you with a look at the Independence Day Parade in Washington. Have a safe and happy 4th. Good night.